So we have these sliders here where we can adjust it. So you can see I have my green background. We can bring in this, and there you go, we can cut out me. So let's start with the basics. I put a video clip on here. Imagine I shot a long video on my cell phone, and then there are certain parts of it that I want to edit, I want to cut out. First thing I want to do is cut off this start. Let's say I didn't like the beginning, so I want to cut this. So I'll go to the point where I want my video to actually start. Let's say here, I want my video to start here. So what we do is we click on our clip, then we click the cut button, and then we can do split a playhead. And then this bit at the beginning, we don't want that anymore, so we'll click on it and then click delete. So now the beginning of my video is here. Now let's imagine I wanted to add some text here also, so people know who made this video. I can add a new layer, text, and then let's put Gadget Addict. Okay, and I want it to be bigger, and I want it to be over here. Now I want this to fade out. That's also an option. So out animation, fade. So let's try play our video. In the road, why? Because this vehicle here is obstructing what should be the sidewalk. Right now they're trying to get the attention of whoever's inside this property. And there you go, you saw it fade out there. So let's imagine we have another clip that we want to cut out. Let's say this car here, I don't want to show this bit. So we'll go to where the car first appears, and then we'll click on it. We'll cut, split a playhead, and then let's find where the car, okay, so the car is on screen here, and then it disappears here just after this. So let's go forward, and we'll cut again, split, and then we'll cut this middle section out because we don't want the car in our video. And there you go. Now you can see it's put a little icon here. That's to show that there's a transition between this. So let's try play. And they're also looking at these signs here. Same thing here on the side. Now the sidewalk clearing guys are... Now there was no transition actually, that was just a complete jump. But if we click this, we can choose transitions. For instance, classic, and then we'll do crossfade. And we can also adjust the time. So by default it's at 2 seconds. Let's try and make it 3 seconds. That's excessive, but let's test it out. So let's play. You're looking to push these back or to remove them all together. And they're also looking at these sides, putting everything together so that when so there you go, that's definitely too excessive. Normally I do my crossfades at about 1 to 1.5 seconds. So let's try 1.2 seconds. And let's play that. Or to remove them all together. And they're also looking at these signs here. Same thing, clearing guys are putting everything together. So there you go. Now let's imagine we shot some footage, but we didn't want to speak. So we're going to do a voiceover. So we click voice, and then start, and then speak into our cell phone. So let me bring the phone to my mouth. Hello, this is a test of a voiceover. This is a test of the voiceover. 1 2 1 2. So I did my voiceover, and you can see it's created a new layer. Let's play it back. Hello, this is a test of a voiceover. This is a test of the voiceover. 1 2 1 2. So you can see that worked fine, because I know a lot of people like to shoot video and then later they speak over it. They don't actually speak at the time. And here's another cool feature. If we go to layer, then handwriting, we can actually draw anything we want on the screen. So let's say I wanted to highlight this pink line because I'm talking about it in my video. I can draw around it like this, and then here's the interesting bit. If we click on it and then click here, we can do draw in order or draw by stroke. So let's try draw by stroke, and there you go, it repeats how I drew it. And now if we play our video back, watch this. Itself, they're like cemented in. And you can see over here the pink line which actually shows the That's pretty cool, huh? Very simple. You can just draw on the screen. That's something that would actually be quite difficult in my current editor on the computer. That's a nice little effect, a good way of highlighting things on the screen. And you can see over here the pink line which actually shows the... I like that, nice feature. And here's another useful feature. We can go to layer, effect, basic effects, then blur. Now it draws a blur on the screen, but we can resize it. Let's say I just want to blur this face over here, and then we can go to settings and we can increase the strength, so you can see that the face is pretty much, you can't recognize it anymore. We can make it smaller, make it bigger. Now of course the problem is if the face moves, the blur doesn't follow it, so it's only good if it's a stationary object. Let's try play that anyway. So right now you can see his face, and then in comes the blur and it hides the face. So that does work well, but like I said, if his face was to move over here, for example, the blur isn't going to follow him. On the computer, what I normally do is move the blur manually. So every time the face moves, I move the blur. It's a very time-consuming process. I think on the cell phone here, what you'd have to do is create a blur, then when it moves, create a new blur, and yeah, it would be quite time-consuming. But if the face doesn't move, if it stays in one place long enough, you could really use this as a blurring option. And of course, it doesn't have to be a square shape. You can go to cropping and then turn on a mask and make it circle like that, because typically when it's a face, you use a circle blur. So over here you can see I put some green paper on the wall. I just stuck it on there with blue tack. We're going to test out the green screen or chroma key effect. Now this is not the perfect setup because I've got a line here, I've got shadows because of the lighting, so this would be a good test to see how the application handles it. So the first thing I'll do is choose a static background. We'll go for this nice orange one because it's a bright color, and then what I'll do is I'll add a new layer, which is our green screen footage. So we'll resize it to make it bigger, then we'll go to chroma key, enable it, and actually that's not bad even straight away. So we have these sliders here where we can adjust it. So you can see I have my green background, we can bring in this, and there you go, we can cut out me. Now if I adjust it just a little bit, you can see we have this shadow here, because the shadow's a much darker color, but we can get rid of that. There you go. Let's line this up, extend this background to match the length, and let's try play our video. So here we are with our green screen. It's just the top of my body, so it might look a little bit weird, and you can see there's a very dark shadow there. So actually that worked very well. I only spent like, what, 2 seconds playing with the settings, and it seems to have done a very good job of cutting out the background. Now instead of having this orange background, I could have like a skiing background or anything really. So okay, chroma key works very well by the looks of it. And what I want to try now is have two of me on the screen at the same time. So I'll set up my camera pointing this way, I'll shoot 10 seconds where I'm standing here, 10 seconds where I'm standing here, and then we'll try and crop and duplicate them on the screen. So you can have two of me on the screen at the same time. That can be quite good for like comedy skits and things like that. So let's try. So here's the footage I shot. What I did was I stood over here for a while, danced around, then I put on another shirt and I stood over here. So let's duplicate this as a new layer. So what we're going to do is keep the top layer as the white shirt, the bottom layer as the red shirt. So we're going to find where the red shirt begins, and then we're going to split that. So cut, split at playhead, and then we're going to delete the first section, the white shirt, because we don't need that, and then we'll move this red shirt to the beginning. So what we have right now is two layers, but they're just playing on top of each other, and you can see that one of them is actually too small. So let's resize this to be full screen. And then the next thing we need to do is mask off an area, because right now this layer is playing over the top, so we're only seeing one. So we click on our second layer. How did I do this? I think I went to cropping, then turn on the mask, set this shape to a square, and then resize it so it's only half of the screen. Let's try. Okay, there you go. So now we have our top layer, which is me in a white shirt, our bottom layer, which is me in a red shirt, and if we press play, you can see I'm now on the screen twice at the same time. And everything lines up correctly because we never moved the camera. We shot as one continuous video, and then we can basically cut it in the middle. So even if you look really closely, it looks like I'm really there twice at the same time. So you could do something like have a conversation with yourself or something like that. Again, very simple. It worked okay. It masked off the area. So actually I'm very impressed with this application. It's pretty powerful, it's got a lot of features. One thing to remember is that if you're not paying, it has a watermark up here. Let me show you. So you see that watermark there? If you want to remove that, you have to pay. And here are your options. You can either pay $200 per month or $1,700 per year. If you do pay, there are some extra benefits that you get. You can see you get access to sound effects, to background music. My internet's a little bit slow, there we go. If you go onto the text effects, they've got some really fancy ones, stickers, extra transitions, effects like this one for example, tracking. Let's have a look. This is just a sample of how it would look. There you go. So all kinds of things that you get access to. So apart from removing the watermark, you do get extra features. This is just a quick video, and I know it's not very well shot, like my voice doesn't sound very good. I'm just shooting this on my bed. I'm pretty much just playing around with the app. I don't want to spend hours trying to make a really nice video to review this, but I'm impressed with it. So yeah, thanks for watching.